Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Embodied Divinity. It's me, Nikayla Mariah, and I am so grateful that you are here today. If no one's told you this yet today, let me be the one. You are exactly where you're meant to be, and I'm honored to share this moment with you. This week, I've been sitting with the truth that feels really simple and yet really expansive. And that is that when we deepen into faith and show up for ourselves, life truly does get easier. I've been exploring how our actions, when aligned, invite the universe to step in and do all of the heavy lifting, turning our dreams into realities in ways we couldn't have ever imagined. But this isn't just about faith. It's also about showing up for yourself as the one, being the love, the support, and devotion you're hoping to find outside of yourself. And today we're going to dive into this theme and explore how holding space for yourself and trusting the universe creates miracles. So get comfortable, grab a warm drink or a cold one like me, and let this episode flow through you as you move through your day. We're wrapping up this 2024 calendar year. And while we're in the season of rest, at least until March, and really hibernating and self-reflecting, this can be a really powerful time for personal inventories, for getting clear on what you want, and then following through with everything we talk about here today. So again, take a deep breath and let's dive in. I want to start with faith. I know we've talked about faith a million times on this podcast, but we talk about it often because it is one of the foundations for leading a life of embodied divinity, for leading a life of ease, of grace, of miracles. Let's take a moment to really define what faith truly is and not just throw out the word. Faith is not passive in any way, shape, or form. It's an active relationship, keyword relationship, with the universe, meaning give and take. You're both showing up for one another. It's the knowing that you don't have to control everything because there's a greater force supporting you. I've learned so much about my relationship with the universe as I've been intending to call in my divine masculine counterpart, because it's really moved me into that place of that feminine surrender, of leaning in, of showing up in all the ways I can, nurturance, grace, self-devotion, and allowing myself to be held and supported each and every step along the way. I personally like to think of faith as a dance. Imagine you're on the dance floor with the universe. You're not in control of every step, but you're moving in rhythm, trusting the lead. And the trust is what makes the dance beautiful and rhythmic and flowy and fun. This week, I had a moment of doubt. I wanted to micromanage an outcome, to force something into place. I was getting so frustrated that things weren't moving on my timeline at my pace. And it was with work things like, producing these creations, whether it's the soundtracks or the meditations or my books. It's like you create them and then they don't get all of the traction that I desire. Or something really silly is I have this gym crush that is oh so beautiful, and we work out next to each other and around each other and in the same vicinity at the same time every day. And I wanted a different outcome than what was happening. I really want and desire him to make the first move and ask me out or ask for my number or something. And I found myself like feeling frustrated that it wasn't happening in the time and the way that I wanted. And it was on the yoga mat that I was reminded by the universe. Every experience, every desire, every movement, every thing that you move through is teaching you what you do and you don't want. And it's really fun to get these ideas and these inspirations and these butterflies and these desires and not attach yourself to a specific outcome and not attach yourself to a specific way. And the universe said to me on the yoga mat as I was feeling all this frustration of, you have no idea what I'm sending your way, and you're going to be so surprised. And let yourself have fun and enjoy all of these feelings, but do not try to control it or predict it. And it's when we do that that we create suffering for ourselves. I had to pause and remind myself with this inspired message from the universe that my job isn't the how. My job is to show up, to move in rhythm with what feels aligned, and to trust the process. It's why I show up every week to create these episodes. It's how I show up to write my books. It's how I show up at the gym, show up at yoga. I show up and the universe does all the heavy lifting, and I get to trust that it's all happening for me in ways I can't even understand right now. Faith doesn't mean ignoring your challenges. It means knowing they're part of the choreography, that every misstep or unexpected turn is guiding you towards something even greater. So here's a tangible practice to deepen your faith. Start a gratitude journal, but with a twist. Each night, write down one thing you're grateful for that hasn't happened yet. Write it as if it's already here. And don't be like crazy specific. Like I wouldn't write about this particular person. I wouldn't be like Gym Crush asked me out today, but I would say I'm so grateful that an embodied, beautiful, passionate, strong man joined me in partnership. You could write, I'm so grateful for the love and peace I feel in my life. I'm so grateful for the abundance that is overflowing to me. But we're not going to write, I'm so grateful for the $1,473 that's in my bank account, because then we get stuck on this number and maybe the universe wanted to send us a whole lot more. So we're going to write, I'm so grateful for whatever you desire to happen without a very specific outcome. We're going to focus on the feelings. We're going to focus on the bigger picture. This practice helps you to align with the feeling of trust and abundance. Faith is your anchor in the chaos. It reminds you that you don't have to carry everything alone, and it feels oh so good. So we have the faith, we have this deep knowing, but then we need action. Faith without action is like planting a seed and never watering it. The universe wants to meet you halfway, actually more than halfway, but you have to take that first step. This week, I deepened my devotion to myself. I started waking up even earlier, carving out time for movement, meditation, and journaling. I deepened my meditation practices. I deepened my conversations with Source. I deepened the way I spoke to myself, the way I showed up for myself. These small actions felt like whispers to the universe saying, I'm ready. I trust you. Let's co-create. We are in this together, and I know you have my back, and here I am. It's me taking a stance through action to show the universe that I am ready. When you show up for yourself, you're telling the universe you're serious about your dreams. You're creating momentum, investing energy in that direction. And what's beautiful is that the universe always responds. It brings opportunities, people, and synchronicities into your life to support you, miracles out of the blue that you never expected. And here's something really cool. Your actions don't have to be grand. They just have to be aligned. Maybe for you, showing up looks like making a phone call you've been avoiding or spending 5 minutes visualizing your dreams. Ask yourself, what is one small aligned action I can take today that supports my dreams? And then I want you to write it down and take that step, trusting that it's enough. The universe isn't asking for perfection. It's asking for presence and consistency. So often we look outside of ourselves for the answers, for the one, the person, the opportunity, the life that will make us feel whole. But what if I told you that everything you're seeking is already within you? This last month, I committed to being the one for myself. I held space for my emotions, celebrated my wins, and even called myself out on moments of self-sabotage, all with love, all with grace, all with compassion. I realized that the more I show up for myself, the more magnetic I become to the things I desire. Because I'm attracting what I'm embodying. Here's a practice for you. Write a love letter to yourself. Start with, dear, your name. I love you because. So we're saying, dear, your name. I love you because. And then let it flow. When I did this, I wrote on and on and on. It just kept coming, like my soul was saying, finally, you're seeing all the beauty and goodness that we have been trying to show you. Let it flow and celebrate all the ways you've been showing up, even if they feel really small. This isn't about perfection. This is about presence. When you become the one for yourself, you stop chasing and you start attracting. You align with the frequency of support and abundance. Becoming the one isn't a destination. It's a practice of devotion to yourself with faith every step of the way. I think the hardest part of this whole journey is letting go of attachment to how we want it to be or a specific outcome or whatever it might be. We're wired to want control, to want guarantees, to say, if I'm showing up, it's going to have this outcome. But the truth is, attachment actually creates a lot more resistance. It's like holding onto a butterfly too tightly. You risk crushing it and damaging its wings. We've learned time and time again through these episodes that letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting that the universe knows your heart better than you do. It means believing that what was meant for you will never, ever miss you. I love this analogy. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, you give it sunlight and trust the process. Your dreams are the same. You nurture them, but you don't smother them with worry. Try this mantra. I trust the universe knows my heart and is always working in my favor. Let it be your anchor when doubt creeps in. I trust the universe knows my heart and is always working in my favor. And one thing I've been saying pretty much constantly is thank you, thank you, thank you for letting everything work out in the best case scenario in my life. I'm going back to all the steps we took before of having gratitude for what I have and what hasn't happened yet, for having that faith and for taking the aligned action by stepping into the presence with that faith and gratitude. So release the need to know the when and the how, and trust that it's already on its way. As we close today's episode, let's just recap everything we talked about. Life becomes easier when you align with faith. Take small but intentional actions and show up as the one for yourself. When you let go of attachment, you create space for miracles. I invite you to take one of the practices from today's episode and make it your own this week, whether it's writing the love letter to yourself, taking the small aligned action, repeating the mantra, stepping into gratitude. Commit to it and see how the universe responds. And then if you started that evidence journal we talked about a couple months ago, write it in your evidence journal as it shows up. And if this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your reflections. Share them with me under wherever you are watching this. Reply to the email if this is where you picked up this episode. And let's keep this conversation going. I'm so proud of you for showing up, for investing time and energy into your soul's expansion today. And Friday, I have an extra special guided meditation on deepening into this faith and devotion. And at some point this week, a couple new music tracks are coming out with some powerful affirmations on being the one. Until next time, breathe deep and plan on miracles. Love you guys.